Today for Devotions with Daniella, we are reading from the first book of Daniella, Uncultured. It's about growing up in the Children of God religious cult and then going into the cult of the U.S. Army. This is chapter 20, Camp Followers. Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 2011. The contractor, a man with a thick Texas drawl, wearing the Army symbols former combat arms guys stitched to their ball caps to display their Army resumes, addressed the gaggle of soldiers who wandered over to his station. I pulled Lieutenant Tiffany Taylor down onto the concrete floor next to me as we gathered around for instruction. Tiffany folded the long legs of her 6'1" frame under herself and arranged the rest of the gear we both collected as a pile of support behind us. I wonder how we'll fit all this new stuff into the 2 duffels we're allowed to bring with us, I murmured. Just leave some of your makeup behind, Miss Thing, she laughed. All right, guys, the contractor said, then started his brief. This is a 20-minute block of instruction on how to wear your new armored vest and carrier. Please lay the combat vest in front of you. Leaning some of my weight on Tiffany, I zoned in and out, knowing that the first several times I put the equipment on would be a disaster. Then a sergeant or someone else on the intelligence team, great at the roughing it parts of soldiering, would step up and square away the poor lost second lieutenant. Sweating through layers of winter gear, my eyes started to droop closed as the stuffiness of the old warehouse set in. Scared of falling asleep in front of everyone, I shook myself and turned back to the speaker. So the thing is, he said, holding up a square, heavy plate the size of a laptop computer, rotating it lengthwise in front of his chest and then pulling it snugly against himself. When you put your vest on and this is mounted correctly, y'all want to make sure that this piece of Kevlar is sitting no more than half an inch away from your center of mass. In a firefight, you got to protect your vital organs, and that's how. When you lose weight, which you will because the food in the sandbox is shit, y'all need to make sure you get a new vest from Damage Exchange. This is the most important thing any of y'all will hear today. He paused and briefly stamped his foot. The Army universal gesture to command special attention. If there's too much space in between the plate that stops the bullet and your big old bellies, then the impact of the bullet hitting this here Kevlar can concuss your insides, and they'll be sending those Purple Hearts home to your families instead of pinning them on ya. Y'all hearing me? The fit makes a big difference in whether you get killed by a slur I'm not going to say over there or not. I had stopped cringing a long time ago at words like this, that everyone threw around constantly. Like anything, if you hear it long enough, you stop hearing it. Don't hate, I reminded myself. Around me, everyone sat up a little straighter, holding their own bulletproof plates tighter, examining the measurement. I didn't need to hold mine up to realize I had a problem. So did Tiffany and every other woman. Excuse me, sir, I raised my hand even though I didn't want to, knowing how this conversation would probably go. Can you explain to me how this is supposed to work for the females? He blinked 2 rounded eyes at me, all pretense of joviality gone. Come again, LT? He drew out the letters. This here's armor, doll. It has nothing to do with your gender. You are going to want it to stop bullets, not buy you dinner. Yes, I understand the whole not wanting to get shot part, I said as I rose. But can I demonstrate an issue? A rather small one in my case. I shed my fuzzy green overcoat and Army combat uniform jacket and turned to face him. Nothing ever fit a woman right in the Army. I wore my extra small men's uniform pants hiked up to the narrowest part of my waist to prevent them from falling off me when I walked. Even for a girl like me, no curves at all, I said, ignoring the tightening feeling inside my chest as I drew attention to my bust. A plate like this, I pulled it tighter, it's going to give a pretty wide gap between my vital organs and the Kevlar. I've got boobs, a bit of a blocking system built in here. I pivoted to the right, showing him the gap of nearly 3 inches between the plate and my midsection. The contractor scratched his head. I see what you're saying, LT, but I don't know what to tell you. I've never had a soldier whip out their boobs during a briefing, you know? He laughed, his eyes darting around the 18 men in my group, and they all chuckled with him. Fuck, I'm not going to live that one down. But in all seriousness, darling, I don't think you're going to have to worry about it. You women are not going to be in combat getting shot at now, are you? I eyed Tiffany, and we didn't need words to exchange the same questions. Why even bother lugging around a 30-pound weight if it wasn't even guaranteed to keep us alive? Did anybody care? After a year and a half in the Army, I knew that women were an afterthought. Always. Everything was designed for men, and women were considered scaled-down men, when we were considered at all. The attitude, no matter what part of the Army it came from, was, you ladies asked to be here, so don't complain about anything, ever. If a man has an issue, he can raise it. But a girl? Come on, doll, you knew what you were signing up for. As if anyone can ever know what they are signing up for when it comes to war. And war was where we were going. I'd arrived at my unit made up of 3,000 helicopter pilots, crew, and all the staff who supported them, responsible for troop movements, close air support of troops in combat, and conducting medical evaluations or body retrievals of wounded troops and fallen heroes. Not that I knew any of that. I'd be going off to war on a team whose mission I did not completely understand, to do a job I knew I had only the faintest idea how to do. I'd arrived after the unit completed all the pre-deployment training, as the intelligence soldiers and officers were all heading out on leave. While my new unit, trained up and ready, was spending time with loved ones they wouldn't see for a year, I had spent my days on base. I spent time trying to prepare myself for what a deployment environment might look like, especially for a woman. I suspected, like so many times in my childhood, that I would have to figure out what role I needed to play to survive. I needed to learn all the normal things a lieutenant did, what to actually bring versus what was on the official packing list, what to do to prepare to leave the real world for a year, and what life was going to look like for 12 whole months over there. Before basic training, officer school, and even the intelligence course, Jeff helped prepare me for what it might be like, though always from his perspective. I'm sure he'd thought, like everyone else seemed to, that men and women's experiences in uniform were identical, or at least parallel. I was finding out how wrong that was. I needed to know if I would have access to tampons, what our facilities would look like, what security would look like. What did I need to know to keep myself safe? Was there anything I could do to keep the gossips from whispering about me, whispers that could affect my career? How could I hold up under the mental stress of being one of so few? I took to Google, hoping to find tips, stories, anything that could teach me what to expect. There wasn't much, except the suggestion to bring colorful underwear and nail polish to paint the toes. The only color variations, besides brown and tan, I'd likely see in a year. Self-care items for my eyes only, to help me feel like a girl in the sandbox. Mostly I'd found other women expressing the same crushing lack of community that I already felt, and warning how amplified it would become downrange. I wasn't prepared for the vitriol. The vet bros who'd served a tour or two spewed words that should have been unspeakable at anyone who dared to suggest women might be capable of serving in combat. Their arguments were always some version of men are the best, down with all the rest, that quickly devolved into somebody should rape you to put you in your place. Rape threats also came from men still in uniform, their identities conveniently masked by social media handles. Like in spy school, I found myself horrified by my difference from the rest, by how many of these men, the ones who were supposed to be my battle buddies, shared these same heinous beliefs. I wondered which of them were behind usernames just like these. It wasn't just the men. I supposed I shouldn't have been surprised that women who have never been in the military look down on those who serve. But I was. I'd always thought we weren't that different. We were all women who just picked one job over another, selected a career we thought would appeal to us. But they expressed how we were overly masculine, traitors to our gender. Some of the military wives whose husbands I might be serving alongside called us hussies, whores, dyke bitches, and camp followers. And then buried underneath were the warnings. Be careful, be aware, have a buddy, don't walk alone. Most people are raped by someone they know, but have a buddy anyway. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll choose the right big, tall, scary-looking guy to keep you safe. And maybe he will choose to do so. Don't get raped. Don't get yourself raped. You can get signed copies of Uncultured attached here.